Welcome to the Learning Lab class, Digital Privacy Basics. My name is Melissa, and I'm one of the Adult and Teen Services librarians at the Arcadia Public Library. We'll be discussing the topic of digital privacy and address how you can protect yourself and your privacy online. In this first video, we'll be introducing digital privacy and defining some terms. A quick note before we jump in, digital privacy and the topics surrounding data can be complex and overwhelming. However, in this series of classes, we're going to be taking a look at some actionable steps to help you be more active and informed as a participant in protecting yourself and your data. The handout for this class that is available for download from the Learning Lab Glib Guide is linked below in the description, and that will have additional resources if you want to take a deeper dive into any of these topics. So first, before we get into digital privacy, let's talk about a digital footprint. Every time you use technology to access the internet or to communicate digitally, you leave a trail of information. This information can include search terms, your location, demographic information, and much more. This digital footprint often takes the form of metadata, which is data about your data, or a description or context for your data. An example of metadata for a digital document would be information such as the title, the description, or the date last modified. It would not be the content of your document, but information about your document that provides description or context for the document. Metadata sounds relatively harmless, but metadata can be leveraged using inference, which is a data mining technique, to combine metadata with your other sensitive personal data to discover or infer information about you. A shocking and notorious example of this is a retailer predicting a teenager's pregnancy based on purchasing habits and sending coupons for baby supplies before that person's family was aware of the pregnancy. While this is a very specific example, inference about data and metadata is widely used and something to be aware of. So what is digital privacy? Digital privacy is a complex and evolving issue. Generally, digital privacy is protecting or controlling your personal information that is created or provided while using the internet or other digital means of communication. There is no perfect solution to privacy, but the goal of digital privacy efforts is to make informed choices about your information and who it is shared with in as much as you can control it. There's many different types of personal information or data. First, there's personally identifying information, and this is information that is used to identify you as an individual, such as your home address. The second type is non-personally identifying information, which can be data such as how you interact with a website. Then there are passive and active data. Passive data is data that is collected without a user's knowledge, such as information that's gathered while using websites or search engines. Active data is data that is deliberately shared, such as a post to social media or information shared with a company to utilize a service. And finally, there's metadata, which we talked about a minute ago, or data about data, like the time and location a photo was taken. A quick note. Often, privacy and security are words that are used interchangeably, but there is a subtle difference. Privacy is about safeguarding your identity and data, while security refers to how your identity and data are protected. So, with all this different type of data and terminology flying around, you can understand why digital privacy is such a complex issue. There are many different reasons why digital privacy is something that you should think about, but here is some information to consider about our digital and technological landscape. First, and perhaps most important of all, the internet is public and permanent. If something is posted online or conducted through digital means, you can reasonably assume that someone else can access it and that it will be available to find forever, permanently. Admittedly, that's pretty overwhelming, but it is important to also remember that the origins of the internet and digital technology were not originally designed with security or privacy in mind. Based on how the internet and digital technologies are structured, your data passes through many intermediaries, so there are many points where someone can access your data. The next reason you should consider digital privacy is that your data is a valuable commodity. There are entire multi-billion-dollar industries developed around data mining or finding patterns and relationships in large collections of data. When data miners make inferences and connect your metadata with data, it raises privacy concerns because information you are not actively sharing can still be made available to advertisers, data brokers, and more. You provide passive or active data when utilizing a service, business, or website online. Usually what happens is that company takes that information and sells it to a third-party advertiser or data miner. A good rule of thumb is to remember this: if the service or product is free to you, then you are the product. A quick note, as a resident of California, you do have some increased control over your data. The California Consumer Privacy Act, or CCPA, is a state law that gives California residents rights when dealing with how businesses collect and sell their personal information. This law applies to certain businesses that meet certain revenue or consumer thresholds. Under this law, you have the right to know what information is collected, if any, request that the business delete the information collected, and opt out from the company selling your information. For more information about CCPA, you can check out the California Attorney General's website at oag.ca.gov/privacy/CCPA. Another few reasons why you should consider digital privacy. Privacy policies from companies are not designed to protect you or your privacy. Companies' privacy policies are designed to protect them from litigation, just something to be aware of. And finally, invasions to you and your privacy can come from a number of sources, both external and internal. Internal invasions of privacy are generally people who are in close proximity to you, such as a spouse, a partner, a family member, or someone who has physical access to the computer that you're using. External invasions of privacy are generally people who are outside of your close circle, such as internet service providers, the NSA, data brokers, hackers, and governments. Again, your data is valuable, so it is in your best interest to protect yourself and your data online. Digital privacy may seem like a huge, overwhelming undertaking, but in this class, we're going to be taking a look at some actionable steps that you can take to better protect yourself online, as well as your data. Understanding and acknowledging issues around digital privacy and security is the first step. So in this video, we went over what digital privacy is and defined some helpful terms. Join us for our next video where we're going to be discussing passwords and two-factor authentication. Feel free to reach out to library staff if you have any additional questions.